Another thing I did different with my second clamp rack is I put it on French cleats. This allowed for added flexibility, once again planning for growth. The thing I love the most about this setup is the larger clamps I switched how I normally see them stored. My first one was stored long ways. It had a slot for each clamp. By changing this, it provides multiple benefits. First, you can fit more clamps in a smaller area. This is another huge call out to typically underutilized space. My scrap cart beneath sticks out 19 inches. My old clamp rack was designed off a pretty common style rack that only stuck out 5 inches. The one I currently have sticks out 10. The point is, I will never utilize this airspace. Me keeping this rack closer to the wall does me absolutely no good, as I can't stand any closer because of the cart below. So by extending the rack out, I'm able to store more clamps in otherwise underutilized space. If I had more clamps of the same type, I would have brought them out even further, but 8 clamps per size was enough for me. The old style clamp rack had a clamp every 1.5 inches, so for 8 clamps that would take up 12 inches. By using this orientation, I can fit 8 clamps in only 5 inches of wall space, and in theory I can fit 16 in that same amount of space. So one key point with this is that if you have something you're storing on the ground that isn't a workbench or a work surface for you, do whatever you can to utilize the airspace above it versus just the wall space. Save all your shallow tools or hardware to put over workbenches so you don't lose that surface space on the bench top. The second benefit of this clamp orientation is that if I need a lot of clamps, I can easily grab a bunch in each hand and go to the table quickly. The same holds true with putting them away. The old method, I had to take them off and put them back on one at a time, which added to the inconvenience of actually putting them back when I was done. And the same is going to hold true as spring clamps. My old way, I had to squeeze each one open to get them on or off, which isn't very efficient. When making my first clamp rack, I made the mistake of settling on what would be the most efficient to build and not what would be the most efficient to use.